You are good, you are kind.
IRS, it comes in form of an email. It comes in form of an email. It will show you that your email that you submitted was properly accepted, but you're comfortable with it. You can actually access to the Taxpro Max. You can use the password with the Max system now. I'm going to use a company details to log into the Taxpro Max system so you can see how the Taxpro Max interface works. So I'm going to click, going to take me to another interface entirely, which is also under the tax, another interface returns now. So I need to minimize this. I'll click on the goods and services exempted. Yes, I'll click on the goods and services exempted and click on the Naira sign. Then if this aspect is actually for companies that their goods are exempted from value-added tax, for people that are involved in pharmaceutical and medical items, basic food items, books and baby products, you have all exports. For instance, if you're involved in all agricultural exports, agricultural products that are exported out of Nigeria are exempted from VAT. For instance, you take rubber crumbs, you're going to the amount of the rubber crumbs here. For instance, the amount of rubber crumbs is 9.2 million. So I'm going to add my record. If I have any other goods that is exempted that I'm trading in, I keep imputing and add my records and I click on proceed. But since it's not applicable to this company, I have to remove it. But I have to click back on my Naira. If you don't click back on Naira, it won't allow you proceed. So you click on proceed, then it takes you to your zero rated. There are companies that are involved in zero rated items for non-oil export. Examples are non-oil exports, goods and services that are purchased by diplomats, then goods and services that are purchased by material donors. So if it is like non-oil exports, what type of non-oil export? What's the name of your product? You have to inject the name of the product, then the amount of the product, then you add your record. Then once you add your record, it automatically pops up that you've added it. Then you click on proceed. Then it takes you to my sales adjustment sheet. My sales adjustment sheet is mainly used for companies that are involved in trading or manufacturing companies, whereby they make sales to their customers and their customers are deemed, they return some of the items. For instance, I purchased paint, maybe better paint from better company. When they gave me the invoice, they've already included VAT on my invoice and which I have paid. I now discovered that some of the products were damaged. I want to return some back, maybe like 10% of it. The 10% I'm returning back to them. If they want to make a refund back to me, they have to make the refund back inclusive of the VAT on the 10%. So here now, the Taxpro Max enables you to put the description of the product you actually sold that the customer is making a return on, then the TIN number of the customer, the name of the customer, the date of the transaction, then the invoice number of the transaction, then the invoice amount. Then once you click on the invoice amount, it enables you to add record. For instance, if you've given the customer back the amount, this Taxpro Max platform enables you to recover the amount you've refunded back to the customer, which you've paid VAT on or you're about to pay VAT on. Then once you add record, then you click on proceed. Once I click on proceed, it has actually locked me out, so I need to relog in. That's Taxpro Max for you. Sometimes it can be very nice, and sometimes it can actually be upside down. So you need to keep trying the network so it could enable you to have access to the Taxpro Max. So I'm going to go back to the VAT. I'm clicking back on my VAT returns. So I've done this. I'm at the VAT form now. Immediately after the sales adjustment, it takes me to my VAT form. This VAT form, it will bring you in here. This place it allows you to type in only some certain pages. Number 10, it allows you to type in number 10. The number 10 is telling you, like, what is your sales for that period? Fine. Let's assume my sales is this figure. Then I have said earlier in the sheet 1 that I showed earlier, that is the goods that are exempted from value added tax. The inflow I have injected there will automatically flow to this place. I don't have to type, and it will not even enable you to type. The goods I have injected on the sales of goods on zero rated goods, it won't allow you type here except what you've typed in the previous page. The sales adjustments also will not enable you to type. It will only flow from the sales adjustment sheet. Then it makes an adjustment automatically for itself here. That is the sales, less your goods exempted, less your zero rated items, then less your sales exempt. Then it will give you the total numbers of your sales that is now subject to VAT. For instance, if your company is not VATable, like we said, the goods that are exempted from VAT, the income that you injected on the revenue that is exempted from VAT will also be the sales figure that will be here. But if your goods is partly exempted, it will only flow in the percentage that is exempted and deduct it from the total sales you made that month. Then the same thing applies to goods that are zero rated. If your goods is zero rated, it exonerates the percentage that is zero rated away from the revenue. But if all your revenue is actually zero rated, then it gives you a tax output of 0. But since this item is VATable, it has computed my output VAT for me. Then the next step, it enables me to type. It's asking me, have you suffered any VAT that has been deducted on goods you purchased earlier? If yes, you are free to type in the VAT you've suffered from companies like the likes of those the oil companies that deduct VAT at source. The VAT element that they deducted on your fee or your amount deducted from my fee. Then it comes here automatically that, okay, it is 4 million that I did transaction with them, and they've deducted or they've withheld value added tax of 7.5% on my supply or my service. It automatically calculates the amount of the value added tax that they've deducted as source from you. That is why you have to impute the amount of service or the amount of goods you supply to them on which withholding or value added ₦60,000, which is 7 point the supply you make. Not enable you to type in any other aspect except you have other VAT that you suffered on imports, like you have your impute VAT for people that do importation paid by you, which is an impute VAT, an element of impute VAT. You also have opportunity to also deduct your VAT impute that has been deducted. You can easily claim your VAT on your import, which is your impute VAT. You can see it's showing me the VAT you suffered on your import. You imported something worth 500,000. They told you to pay VAT at 7.5. Enables you to claim it back, which is this 37,000. Then if you have any other deductions, take to the bank is meant for July. So, and it always have an expiration date. If you don't make the payment or take it to the bank for processing before the expiration date and it expires, you would have to generate another payment reference number by the Taxpro Max platform. So I think that is all for VAT. Then we can move straight to withholding tax.